December 26, 1900, a ship called the Hesperus approached the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, expecting to meet the 3 lighthouse keepers stationed there. But something was very wrong. The lighthouse stood eerily silent, its massive beacon unlit despite stormy weather. As the ship's crew approached the island, they noticed something chilling. There was no sign of life. What happened to the 3 experienced men tasked with keeping the lighthouse running? More than a century later, their disappearance remains one of history's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. The discovery, the Hesperus, was bringing a new keeper, Joseph Moore, to relieve one of the men. But as the crew drew near, they noticed no welcoming signal, no movement, nothing. Moore was the first to step onto the island. The heavy iron gate leading to the lighthouse was closed, yet no one came to greet him. The main door was locked from the inside. His heart pounded as he pulled out his spare key. As he stepped inside, his breath caught in his throat. The fireplace was cold, the beds untouched, and yet a meal had been prepared. Plates sat on the table, chairs slightly askew, as if the men had been called away suddenly. A single chair was knocked over, like someone had left in a hurry. Then came the most disturbing detail. The logbook, a record of the men's daily lives, contained entries that made no sense. The cryptic logbook, the last few entries written by Thomas Marshall, described a storm unlike anything they'd ever seen. December 12th, severe winds the likes of which I have never seen before in 20 years. Keeper Ducat quiet, MacArthur crying. December 13th, storm still raging. Sea is wild, all 3 of us praying. December 14th, storm ended, sea calm, God is over all. These entries shocked investigators. Why? Because there had been no reported storms in the area on those dates. The weather had been calm, yet the 3 men had written about terrifying conditions, as if they had been living through a storm that didn't exist. And after that, no more entries. They were gone. The investigation. A full search of the island uncovered more mysteries. The lamps were cleaned and ready for use, as if the keepers had been following routine right before they disappeared. 2 of the men's oilskins, protective gear, were missing, but the 3rd man's coat was still hanging inside, suggesting he left in a hurry. The western landing area of the island showed massive destruction. The iron railings were twisted, a crate of supplies shattered, and a 200-pound rock had been moved by unknown force. But here's the strangest part. Even if a storm had swept them away, why did they leave the lighthouse together? Regulations dictated that 1 man must always stay behind, yet all 3 had vanished. Theories. Many theories have surfaced over the years, each more chilling than the last. 1. A freak wave or storm. One official theory suggests a massive rogue wave swept the men away while they were securing supplies. But why would all 3 go outside, breaking protocol? And what about the logbook entries about a storm that didn't exist? 2. Madness and murder. Some believe one of the keepers, possibly MacArthur, who is described as crying in the logs, went mad and killed the others before throwing himself into the sea. But there was no blood, no struggle, and no signs of violence. 3. Supernatural forces. The locals whispered that the Flannan Isles were cursed. Some believed the men were taken by spirits, a sea monster, or something unknown. The log entries about praying and the storm that wasn't there only fuel these eerie theories. 4. Alien abduction. A more modern theory suggests extraterrestrial involvement, the idea of a storm that didn't exist, and 3 men vanishing without a trace, has led some to believe they were taken by something beyond human understanding. The final clue. In 1920, a relief keeper assigned to the Flannan Isles Lighthouse arrived with an uneasy feeling. The mystery of the 3 missing men still loomed over the station, and many locals refused to take assignments there. Moore's discovery had left an unshakable mark, and stories of strange happenings had already begun to circulate. The new keeper, James Harland, noted that as soon as he arrived, the air felt wrong, too still, too quiet. The wind, though gentle, seemed to carry a mournful whisper. At night, that whisper turned into voices, Sometimes it was just a name drifting through the air. Ducat, Marshall, MacArthur. Other times it was his own name. Harland, a hardened sailor, tried to dismiss it as his imagination, but things got worse. On his third night, he woke to the sound of footsteps echoing through the halls. He shot out of bed, oil lamp in hand, and searched the lighthouse, but found no one. Everything was exactly as he had left it, except for the logbook. It had been moved. It now lay open on the desk. A new entry had been scribbled at the bottom of a blank page. "We are not alone." Shaken, Harlan ripped the page out, burned it in the fireplace, and locked the logbook away. He told no one. More reports over the years. Harlan's experiences were not unique. In the 1950s, another keeper reported waking up to banging on the lighthouse door. Thinking it was a lost sailor seeking shelter, he opened it, only to be met with empty darkness. The waves crashed against the shore, but no one was there. A month later, he awoke to find his own boots soaked with seawater, despite never having stepped outside. The next day, his logbook pages were found scattered across the floor, with one entry circled in red ink. "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." He quit the job the next morning. The hidden logbook page. In 1971, during a routine renovation of the lighthouse, workers uncovered something chilling. Behind a loose wooden panel in the storage room, they found an old, yellowed page, torn from a logbook dating back to 1900. It was dated December 15th, the day after the last recorded entry. The writing was shaky, almost unreadable, as if scrawled by someone in great distress. Only one sentence remained legible. "The light is calling us. I must go now." It was unsigned. Some believe it was a final note from one of the missing keepers. Others claim it was planted there long after they vanished as a sick joke or a warning. The modern hauntings. To this day, sailors passing the Flannan Isles report seeing 3 shadowy figures standing on the cliffs. The figures never move, never signal, and when the ships get too close, they vanish into the mist. Some claim the lighthouse light still flickers at odd intervals, even though it has been automated for decades. No bodies were ever found, no explanation ever confirmed, and perhaps some mysteries are never meant to be solved.